I shove a weasel down my shorts. Oh, hey, we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to MCU Mondays. I am your host, David. So glad to have you here. We're with Loki. Also with me tonight is my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how are you?
Still trying to figure out what a weasel is.
I don't know, but I don't want one down my shorts anymore.
Oh, it's too early for that. It's a Monday.
It's Monday. That's why we need stuff like that on Mondays to lift our spirits. That's what it is. And it's not too early.
It's almost bedtime.
Yeah.
It's almost bedtime, and I still haven't woken up from this morning. So
it's almost
I'm very
bedtime
behind.
It's almost bedtime, and I just got woke up from my nap.
I did have a nap, and
I did not.
I still don't feel refreshed.
I did not get that fortune. So anyway,
it's the struggles of being old, people.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So we've got a new episode of Loki out this week. We were just talking about it too. So this will be the third episode of Loki. When the sixth episode of Loki airs, which is just a few weeks from now, is when the Marvels begins. So we're gonna jump from. And I know I apologize. I didn't even think about this. I told everybody. I said we're gonna go back into Daredevil after Loki. We're probably going to do the Marvels after Loki, and then we'll go back into Daredevil, if that's okay with everybody. I assume it's going to be fine. So, but
I don't know.
Are you going to go watch the Marvels?
Oh yeah, I'll go watch it.
Okay, all right.
Because I want to see the Flurkin.
The Flurkin. There's a lot of them in this one. It looks like.
That's what I'm excited about. I'm a cat lover. If y'all haven't.
Yeah, we
figured that one
out. I haven't seen her yet, so she's lurking. I'm sure
she's lurking somewhere. I'm sure her tail will make an appearance at some point.
Oh, by the way, my internet's working again. Obviously, everything's hunky dory. For those of you that missed Thursday night, I had my phone running a mobile hotspot because our internet got cut, and the Cantina happy hour was. Well, it was interesting. Let's just say that. In fact, if you go back and watch the whole episode, we had a post-credit scene. So go watch it. It's great. Good stuff. Post-credits. It's awesome. Well, all of that being said, what do you say we run let's run the intro, and then we'll get into Loki. How about that? Sounds good? Sounds good. All right, here's the intro. Let's play this thing. Oh yeah, David had a little extra time this weekend.
I'm pretty impressed.
That was pretty good, huh?
Also kind of jealous. Oh. I still haven't been able to get into that and mess around with it.
I dinked around with it. I did a Lego build this weekend, and I did my Lego build, and then I did this. I scheduled all the shows, and then I was like, you know what? I need to do a new MCU Monday intro, and we're doing Loki, so why not? And put one up, and I'm playing with it, and I'm like, oh, we need to, because Chris did the music for that thing. He was the former host of the MCU Mondays. He has graciously given us the music, and we appreciate that. So obviously, I credited him. Thank you, sir. That is his Twitter handle and his YouTube handle. It's a Vase. Go check it out. It's good stuff. He's got a bunch of good stuff on there. And I just needed a third person, so I figured Deadpool sounded good too. So I was like,
well, whoops, he is back here.
Oh yeah, he is. I see. Yeah, you're right. He's on the
Yeah,
bed.
so it's appropriate.
He's
It
here.
fits.
He's here. Yeah. If we ever have another host or another guest host or whatever, I'm going to be like, well, we aren't going to add you. You're just here for a week. Doesn't matter. Maybe I'll be nice. Maybe.
Oh, rude.
But that was our new intro. And then one of these days I'm going to make an outro. But until that time, I've just got our regular one. So anyway, let's talk Loki, shall we? So in this episode, obviously Loki has stopped time jumping. There it went. I just saw it.
Yes.
Chewie's butt.
Her tail, yes. Oh, and here it comes again. Well, I don't know. She might go under the camera.
Oh.
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun. You're going to need a bigger boat.
Best line in cinema. One of the best lines.
Arguably, yes. That's one of those pop culture lines. That's one of those ones where you could say it just about anywhere and almost everyone would know exactly where it came from and what you're talking about. So
I watch it every summer.
I watch it 2 or 3 times a year. That's Cam from Cam and Focus. If you don't know, he's on the Cantina Happy Hour with us, and he put up a post earlier today, and it was like, what movie have you seen at least 5 times and you would still continue watching? And I was like, holy cow,
I have too many.
I was going to say there are so many. I mean, all of the Star Wars films, anything from the MCU from phase 1 to 3, at least phase 1 to 3. I had a couple of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We talked about that on Thursday. It's great. One of my favorites. Jeremiah Johnson, Princess Bride, Last Starfighter. I mean, there's a slew of movies that, and Jaws is. I didn't even mention Jaws, but I watch that like 2 or 3 times a year. So it's like I never get tired of it. I know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. I can sit there and quote the movie to you, and I still like watching it.
Yeah, that was probably one of the first movies that. This was back in 75, I believe, when it came out. And it was probably the first movie my brothers took me to that scared the bejesus out of me. And of course, they got punished once Mother found out because Mother was not happy.
I got to go see, I went to go see a double feature when I was a kid. And the double feature was, I think it was The Fox and the Hound and Gremlins. And my aunt took me, and she was in high school at the time, but I think she was in high school, or she may have been a senior, but she took me to go see Gremlins. My mom hit the roof. You took him to see that? Oh, it's so scary. And it was. I mean, that's one of the movies that is the reason we have a PG-13 movie rating right now. So, because it really was, for a PG movie, it was quite terrifying. And for a young child, it was really terrifying.
Yeah, my brother's got in trouble a lot for taking me to movies that I probably shouldn't have went to. Like, I don't know if you remember the Towering Inferno
with Charlton Heston.
Yes. Yeah, there was
why that here's the thing. And everyone has to remember this.
I was very young.
Well, you can go back. You could take a movie that was rated R back in like the 70s and the 80s. Maybe not the 80s so much, but the 70s for sure. You could take a rated R movie. Actually, probably anything pre-1980 and go watch it today and be like, why is this rated R? This is, I mean, PG-13 tops. You know, it's the kind of thing I watched. I let Luke watch, and I'm a bad parent. I'm a horrible parent. I know for letting him watch this. We watched Blazing Saddles, and that was rated R. And all of you woke people out there go, oh, racist, yeah! No, it's not racist. It's making fun of racism. It is hilarious. If you cry racist, then you obviously have not seen that movie. So go watch the movie and then come back and apologize to me because you owe me a big apology. But anyway, so I'm sitting there. I showed it to Luke and I said, this was a rated R movie. It deals with some sensitive subjects, blah, blah, blah. Luke watching is like, why was that rated R? I don't know. I mean, PG-13 tops on that one.
Well, a lot of things that were Mel Brooks back in the day was considered
raunchy,
risque.
Trying to think, he had another rated R one. Was it History of the World? Was that the?
Probably.
That was and again, that was a good one. It was funny. Don't think I'd let Luke watch that one, but it seemed like it seemed like that one was a little raunchier. Or maybe I'm thinking of Life of Brian.
Oh, that was
Monty Python and the Life of Brian. That one was.
I went on a date with a double date. I was in high school at the time, and the boys that we went out with were, I believe they were brothers. And me and my girlfriend were we were laughing so hard we had tears coming out of our eyes, and the boys just sat there, and I'm like,
do you not get it?
I don't know if it went over their heads or maybe they're, live under a rock and they didn't know what they were talking about. I don't know, but God, that movie was hilarious.
Oh, the whole scene where they were stoning that guy was just. All I said was that this meal was good enough for Jehovah. Oh, he said it
again. Tis just a scratch.
Oh, well, that was Holy Grail, but still.
Still, both those
but a scratch. I cut your arm off. No, you didn't.
Oh, those were the days when we had funny movies.
when a funny movie was actually funny.
So, all right, back to Loki.
Go back to Loki.
That's why we're here.
Yes, he's and that's probably why we're doing this, because he's the god of mischief, so he's probably watching us and he's saying, I will divert attention. Which, and again, that was brought up a lot in this episode. Breaking Brad was the title of this episode. Luke asked me today, he said, seriously, was that, because I guess he saw our post and he was like, that episode was seriously called Breaking Brad? I was like, yeah. And he's like,
well, that's what they did.
Like Breaking Bad? And I was like, well, yeah. It's a play on the words.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't about drugs.
It wasn't about drugs. It was about breaking someone as far as an interrogation tactic. So,
but it was a good play on words. Because when I started watching the episode and I seen the title come up, I had to do a double take because I thought it said Breaking Bad too. So
now, okay, so basically what they did was they chased X5 into the timeline. He had reinserted himself back into the timeline. Now, my question is, because he was like a big movie star. He'd come in, he was making movies and he was famous and walking the red carpet and everything else. In fact, that's where they caught up to him, was at a premiere of one of his movies. Now, my question is did he reinsert himself into the timeline where he actually had come from, or did he reinsert himself into the timeline as to say, my life kind of sucked, I'm going to give me something better?
Well, he was on a sacred timeline, so I'm assuming that was his life before he got yanked out.
All I could think of was that scene in The Matrix where he agreed to betray Neo and Morpheus. He's like, I'll give him to you, but I want to be reinserted back into the Matrix, but I want to be somebody big and important, like a movie star, and make lots of money and have lots of women and blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, if I could reinsert myself back into the timeline, yeah, I think I'd. I mean, not necessarily a movie star, but definitely be wealthy.
Well, what's interesting about this, and I don't know if you caught it or not, I don't know if this is where they're going eventually because it kind of makes a little connection to uh, Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, the end credit scene. But the name of the movie is Zaniac,
Mm-hmm.
which is a Marvel comic character where an actor named Brad Wolf, which is this guy's name, he's an actor and he plays Zaniac, and he actually becomes Zaniac, who is a demonic, parasitic demon type thing from the dark dimension, which I think that was the end scene of Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, wow.
So
Where
yeah,
she jumps through the cut and says, "Oh, look, here's the dark dimension. You want to come play?" kind of thing. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just a nod to the comics or if this is actually making a connection to that. I don't know, because you never know with Marvel what the hell they're doing. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting.
Especially with all this multiverse stuff, it's just crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, because I thought, they wouldn't put that in there for, just for shits and grins. So
I didn't even know. That's
well, I just put in Marvel Zaniac, and then it just came up with this whole thing, and is Brad Wolf, and I was like, oh hell, well that's this guy's name. So
I'm going to be at a Comic-Con. I'm going to be at a Comic-Con this weekend. I think I'm going to look for a couple of issues with Zaniac because now I'm intrigued.
I thought that was interesting. And anyways, this character Jack the Ripper is somehow involved in it in the comics at least, and Brad evidently the Zaniac thing takes him over and he becomes the serial killer. And
it's like
it's like
like Moon Knight.
Yeah, something similar.
Gotcha.
So I thought that was interesting. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Interesting. You went with you started off with the whole demonic thing, and I was like, oh, here it comes. It's the Mephisto.
Mephisto.
It's coming. Huh?
Dark dimension. You never know.
Hey, demonic entity, dark dimension. 1 + 1 = Mephisto.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there eventually. And then I can say, ha, I called it back.
I called it back in WandaVision. You only thought Kang was going to be the big bad in this one. No, it's Mephisto.
Hey, maybe they're in cahoots with each other. We don't know. Marvel does all kinds of weird shit. So
yeah. I mean, look through the whole first phase of Avengers. You or the whole first phase. They all had their big bads, but then it was Loki that came back with the army to conquer the world. And it's like, oh, okay, Loki's the big bad. And then you find out later on, oh, wait a minute, Thanos is pulling the strings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm good with that. So yes, they're setting this one up. No, Kang's the big bad. No, Mephisto's pulling the strings from the dark dimension.
Well, I'm not going that far. I'm just saying,
what's going to be funny is if that's really the truth, and then I'm like, oh my god, I got it! Holy smokes! Shield Maiden's on a Shield Maiden. Miss Minutes will be the big bad. I wasn't gonna say anything, but you made the face. So all I'll do is make the face.
I was reading it on screen and I was like, oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. We're gonna get censored.
Now she's laughing. Ha ha.
Hey, it's Monday.
It's forgiven. It's Monday. Yeah. It's late.
Crap happens, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, back to Loki.
So back to Loki. So and actually Miss Minutes does kind of play into this. She's at least mentioned. And I think you're right. I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I don't necessarily think she's going to be. Well, I don't know. She might be the big bad for this series. Just
for one.
someone working underneath Kang. But
Yeah, we haven't seen her yet in this series. I think I don't know. I think maybe the next episode is maybe when we see Victor Timely.
I hope so.
Because we see in the trailer we see Mobius and Loki go back in time, old time.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought that's where they were headed. I thought that's the way it was going to, because they both showed up in. It was what, 1972 or 76,
72.
and they popped up in the
77.
77. Oh, that was a good year. That was the year of Star Wars. Yeah, it's a good year. But they both popped up in 77, and they're both in like the tuxedos and everything. And I remembered that they were wearing something similar to that in the post-credits scene of Ant-Man and Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking that's where they were going. And I was like, I don't think so, because this is 1977, and you don't see it looked like he was like a snake oil salesman kind of thing, the guy that goes town to town and sells.
Like maybe 1800s, 1900s, or so, I don't know. I don't know. Some, back in the.
It looks older.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, maybe not. But I had hope.
But I think we might see him in the next episode, and I am really anxious to see, because in the trailer we see Miss Minutes, but she doesn't look like Miss Minutes.
Mm-mm.
She looks like
maybe it's not Miss Minutes.
Well, I don't know. She has a sheet over her or something, and she's chasing somebody down. I assume
she won't pop up until not this week, not next week, maybe the week after next, because maybe she does have a sheet. Maybe she's a ghost, and that's going to be like the Halloween episode. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Halloween, don't forget to go and watch Werewolf by Night. At least some point this month. It's good, scary Halloween movie. It's a Marvel movie. I hope we get another one of those. Just kind of all of a sudden out of nowhere. Hey, guess what? Here's another Marvel project we've been doing. It's like,
actually, they're re-releasing it, but it's in color this time.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
Black and white work real well.
Yeah, I do too. I like the black and white aspect of it, because it gives it that old, Bela Lugosi time period feel to it. In case you don't know who that is, kids, that's Dracula. Well, he did a lot of monster movies, but
Bela Lugosi and who played Frankenstein? Lon Chaney Jr. was the Wolfman. God, yeah. I can't remember who played Frankenstein. Anyway, but and even a more recent movie, if you've ever seen the movie Psycho, it's an Alfred Hitchcock movie, Anthony Perkins and oh gosh, I can't even, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. Anyway, it was shot in black and white. Well, that was in a time when movies were all shot in color, and it was a big thing to have your movie shot in color. And they asked Hitchcock, why shoot it in black and white? And he goes, because it's scarier that way. The shadows, the lighting, everything else, it's more frightening that way. Which I think that's the same kind of thing. Werewolf by Night is going to be in black and white. In color, okay, fine. We're reaching out. We need a bigger audience. We know kids don't like to watch black and white things. So,
but I was really hoping they'd come out with another monster special presentation.
I wouldn't even mind if they did another Werewolf by Night Part 2.
Oh yeah,
continued on with the story kind of thing.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think it went over very well. It was pretty popular.
I think it
last
was one of the. I think that was actually, excuse me. I think that and
Guardian special.
the Guardian special. I think those were the two things out of Phase 4 that most people like. Everybody like enjoyed.
Mhm.
Everybody thought, oh, that was good. I don't know why can't they do all the rest of the stuff like this? But I think even Chris liked both of them. So
Yes, I believe he did.
yeah, me too. Our weather changed down here. It was like 40 degrees this morning. I was not a happy camper. It didn't get above like 65. I was like, ooh, this is horrible.
It's been over lost my train of thought. It's been cloudy, drizzly, kind of like Seattle. And I think it's been getting down into the 30s and 40s. I think today we only had a high of 52 maybe.
That's too cold.
I mean, it was, I just wore a jacket to work, but
I would have been bundled up, but what do I know? I would have had a coat and thick socks.
It's not heavy coat weather yet here in Indiana. Not yet. We're getting close, but not yet.
Okay, back to Loki. So they hunt down X5, and basically they're trying to find
Sylvie.
I was gonna say Circe, and I knew it wasn't Circe, and I was like, it's not Circe. That's something else.
It's not Game of Thrones. Wrong.
Oh, I was thinking the Iliad and the Odyssey, but whatever.
I was thinking.
I went nerdier, all right, than Game of Thrones. I ran up to that line and I jumped over it. So,
Sylvie.
They're looking for Sylvie, and they think X5 knows where she is because he has reinserted himself back into the timeline. And basically, they bring him back to the TVA to interrogate him to find out what he knows. And it's an interesting interrogation because they're looking at it. It's almost I was looking at it initially and I was like, oh, they need Jack Bauer is who they need. That's what they need. They need Jack. Jack will get the info out of him.
Let's get Kiefer into the MCU.
MCU, yeah. But I mean, he basically they're like, we can't. It's going to be tough to interrogate him because he knows how we do everything. He knows exactly what's going on,
and that's probably what he does, anyways.
Yeah,
so
it's awesome. Yeah, and he was the what did they say? He was the best hunter that they had.
I mean, he was able to get under Loki's skin and Mobius's skin, and they both tried to intimidate him.
Well, and it didn't it didn't affect. I don't think it affected Loki. I mean, I think it affected him. He just did not show it. Loki was smart enough to say, I'm not going to let him know that he's getting to me.
He did a little bit when Brad mentioned Loki's mother.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was just that expression like,
all right,
hey, we're going down that road. All right.
I'll smite you later.
Yeah.
but Mobius, he really got at him. I mean,
now he says that was a tactical decision, but I'm like,
did he punch him or did he slap him?
I think he slapped him.
I was gonna say because it didn't. If he did, I was like, that's the weakest punch I've ever seen. I was like, what? What was that?
Yeah, it wasn't a closed fist punch. It was an open-handed slap.
Okay, fine.
It was a tactical decision on his part.
But then they went and got pie, which I've had key lime pie before, but I don't recall it ever looking like that. That looked more like Jello.
Well, the thing is that I don't know if you noticed, in all the slots was key lime. There was no other choices. I mean, you had that whole wall
Of pie.
and it was all key lime. It was nothing else. There was no apple or pumpkin or custard or pecan or
See,
anything
I told Luke that too. We were watching that scene. I was like, I want some pecan pie now. Forget
else.
that key lime. I love pecan pie. Oh,
That's too sweet for me. I don't like it.
So good. I can't wait for Thanksgiving and I'll get some pecan pie.
Now you get me some chocolate cream pie.
And pumpkin pie.
Coconut cream pie. Num num.
So anyway, they sit down, and honestly, this scene reminded me of Men in Black too. This was my Men in Black scene, because they always had the scene where he was where Jay was taking Kay out to, or Kay was taking Jay out to, we're gonna go get a piece of pie. You want a piece of pie? I want a piece of pie. Let's go get a piece of pie. It's the Men in Black scene. And then of course we had the whole, we're opening up to each other, we're sharing our feelings, let's get it out. You're the god of mischief.
Yeah. You need to bring him back.
Yeah. And he brought him back, and it was hilarious. Just, I mean, it's been done before. The trope's been done as far as the thing, like, oh, well, I'm just gonna sit here and try it. I'll just push some buttons and figure out how this thing works. And you do it on something, and you smush it or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's what it does. Okay. And then it's like all of a sudden, boom, he's in the box, and you're like, oh, so what happens if I push this? And then the box shrinks, and it's like, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how far Loki was going to take that, but yeah, he had him pretty well squished in there.
Yeah, he's quite the contortionist. So, but they opt to, he gives him up, and just, this was the best. This to me was the best part, and I think I called this when it first happened. I told Luke, I was like, okay, here's what's about to happen. This is how this is going to work. I said, they're going to go in there and they're going to wheel this thing in there, and Loki's going to have forgotten something, and Mobius is going to go get it, and then Loki's going to shut the door behind him, and yes, Loki has it in his pocket the whole time, and in the meantime, you got Mobius banging on the door. No, stop! Don't kill him! And you create the air to the person being interrogated of
that Loki. That Loki is that Loki is
shouldn't be doing what he's doing.
He's out of control now.
Yeah, exactly. He's gone rogue at this point.
Yep.
So and then of course, he's going to take us to him. Oh, that was great, man. You said your lines just right. Yeah, I know, man. You too. Again, that lovely banter between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston is wonderful. We need a movie that's not, we need a like a buddy cop movie from them that's not Loki based or not Marvel based or anything. Just something random. I don't know. Ben Stiller and him did it with Starsky and Hutch. Surely there's another buddy cop, something we can. Maybe we can get those two to remake Lethal Weapon.
Oh my god!
We get Tom Hiddleston playing Danny Glover's part. No. Oh well. We need a buddy cop with, or maybe they could do redo what was that one, the Rush Hour, not redo them, but do a sequel to the Rush Hour movies, and instead of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, you've got Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. That would be good. I could do that, kind of like they did with the Men in Black, the fourth Men in Black movie,
International.
I didn't even see it. That's how bad it was. I didn't even watch it. I don't even know where to watch it.
Watched it. I thought, I mean, except I'm trying to think. It's on one of the streaming services, and I think, oh, I'm going to watch that because Chris Hemsworth and I forget the actress's name, but she plays Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I didn't do it this weekend because I've been busy watching the Fall of the House of Usher.
I want to watch that. I just found that today because
It's I'm not done with it yet, but it's pretty good. It's a modern take on Edgar Allan Poe's short stories.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good.
Well, we watched because Luke and I got done with Loki, and then we watched Goosebumps, and this is the new Goosebumps that Disney is doing. It's like a mini series that they're doing right now, and it was like I was looking at it going, wow, this is, I mean, it's actually really good. I've enjoyed it. We were talking about it prior to the show. It's got some fairly intense scenes in it. The acting is very well done. I'm shocked, but it's really a decent movie. And then I saw this Fall of the House of Usher, and I was like, oh, Luke and I can watch that one. And then I'm reading on it on IMDb. I'm like, oh, Luke's not watching this, so I'll have to watch this one by myself.
It gets pretty gory. I mean, I love gore, but yeah.
No, I'm not, the gore I don't care about so much as the nakedity and the foul language. So I guess you haven't got to that episode. Apparently,
well, I 2 episodes left. I don't remember any.
Oh, apparently there's an episode with a big like orgy scene in it, and
either that or I slept through it. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe you're just old and you're desensitized to it, so you don't notice it.
Probably. I've seen it all, folks. Seen it all.
So anyway, they find Sylvie. He basically he tells Sylvie, look, I saw you in the future and the TVA was falling and it's your fault. Why did you do it? Which doesn't make any sense to me because
he asked, why was she there?
Why were you there? But again, it doesn't make any sense to me because if that happened in the future, why would she know why she is going to be there?
Because she's him.
I don't know.
It's time travel. We don't know.
We don't know.
It works differently there in the TVA, so I don't know.
But then they go back and come to find out. Brad had gone with them, and he was very, very anxious to get out of there.
Yeah, he was wanting to get out of there. I did and put me back in my timeline.
Yeah, and the whole bit with Mobius eating the
apple pie.
Apple pie. I'm gonna go get me some apple pie.
McDonald's apple pie. I don't even think they sell that anymore.
That and the McDonald Land cookies. I love those cookies. And yeah, I think you're right. I think when all that McCafe stuff started happening, they took all of that away. When McDonald's started getting grown up, it's like, oh, but you kept the child alive in us. You don't need to grow up. You're fine. Kids will always love you. Anyway, but again, it was I want to get out of here, stick me back in my timeline, and come to find out he knew, and obviously because he was one of the hunters, but he knew they were bombing like
the other timelines.
They were not bombing. What did pruning? They were pruning
bombs.
Yeah, they were bombs.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a scene between Casey and OB where Casey is fanboying.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was
Would
great.
you sign my book? Yes, I'd love to. No. First there was this urgency. This whole thing's about to go. Everybody's about to die, and this whole thing's about to blow up. You're Obi. Would you sign my book? Oh yeah, I'd love to. It's like, wait a minute. Well, can we go back to the everybody's gonna die part?
Yeah, come to find out, they can't open the blast doors.
Because Miss Minutes is in control, or they're gonna
No,
have to reboot Miss Minutes to see. I think that's
no.
where she was mentioned.
Well, they said they need a live scan of
Oh,
he who remains. They need a live scan of his temporal aura, or they need to bring Miss Minutes back so she can override, because evidently she's the only one that can override it. But I thought the whole fanboying thing was
and Casey. Okay, so Casey, I love this guy, and I was sorry he left. There's a show called Tacoma FD, Tacoma Fire Department. Okay, it's done by the same guys that did Super Troopers, the movie Super Troopers, the Broken Lizard. Now, if you've never seen Super Troopers, it's quite possibly one of the funniest movies ever made. Ever go watch it. My brother and I went to go see it in the theater. We were literally falling out of our seats and rolling on the ground laughing in the middle of the movie theater. That's just the first like 10 minutes of this movie is just like holy cow, I was dying. So anyway, so they make this show Tacoma FD, which is basically Super Troopers but in a fire department, and it's a lot less raunchy because it's on TV. But Casey was one of the firefighters for the first like 3 or 4 seasons, maybe the first 2 seasons, and then the third season he got replaced. Not by much. If you watch the unedited ones, yeah, and they do show the unedited ones. So, but anyway, they got the but Casey, like I said, was on Tacoma FD, and he was great. He was hilarious, and I guess he left to continue on doing Loki. I don't know what happened, why he left, and I want to say it was the third season maybe that he was replaced. So I kind of fell off. That they made seasons all the way up until COVID, and then COVID happened, and then of course they were on a break because everybody was on a break. They weren't making anything. So, and then it picked back up, and I never picked back up. I have not yet picked back up with it. So, but yes, if you have not watched Super Troopers, holy cow, go watch Super Troopers and then thank me later. Debbie, I'm talking to you because you've got that look.
I'm trying.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if it's the movie I'm thinking. Is that the one where they're like fighting aliens in space?
No. No,
What was
this
that?
is this is
Trooper something?
Starship Troopers.
Oh, there you go. That's the movie I was thinking of, because I was thinking
No.
that wasn't hilarious. What are you talking about?
Super Troopers is about a group of police officers up in the Northeast somewhere. I want to say Vermont or Connecticut, maybe, but they're like the state troopers. And of course, they're the state troopers, but they've got this funny little spat with the city police, and they're highway cops and blah blah blah. And of course, it's wait a minute. Shenanigans ensue, which that's one of the big lines from it. He goes, his shenanigans are dark and twisted and evil, and our shenanigans are funny and lighthearted. That's it. The next person that says shenanigans, I'm gonna pistol whip him. Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant? The one you like with all the shit on the walls? Oh, you mean Shenanigans? Oh, you boys like Mexico? Woohoo! Go watch Super Troopers. I'm telling you, you'll love it. Just find it streaming somewhere. I'm sure it's somewhere. Go watch it. It's hilarious. The second one's okay. The second one was funny. Don't get me wrong. It was funny, but nothing compares. I mean, that first one was just beautiful. So Anyway, the snozberries taste like snozberries. That was from Super Troopers as well.
Figured.
Yeah. FT Grimlock there knows what I'm talking about. He's there. I see you, boy. I see you. Too bad that cop took off. I was just about to pull out my 9 and bust a cap. I think I mentioned that on Thursday too. That was the one that had the at the very end, the last scene, it had Saint Enki's beer, stanky beer, ST Enki beer, Saint Enki's beer, stanky beer. We were talking about be smart, shop S smart. We were talking about Army of the Dead. Trust me, we were.
That was Thursday. I have slept since then.
So anyway, so they find Sylvie. Yes, let's move on. They find Sylvie. Sylvie wants nothing more to do with him. She is certain she has killed he who remains, and she doesn't have to worry about it anymore. And they go back to the TVA. They're killing everybody. That's what what's her name says is you're killing everybody. They're just killing everyone. And they go back and it was the mean lady from the
Ducks.
Yeah. Oh. And she was, they're on to us. We got to get out of here. So she knew what she was doing was wrong. And then, of course, Loki and Sylvie just go all kinds of. Here's your Michael Bay scene. Bang bang bo bo.
Well, they even did I don't even know what it was called. I call it a Loki bomb because they held hands and they just went. And
well,
then
she said, and that was she had the one line. No, it was don't think too much into it. Yeah. Something like that. And I was like,
I don't know what that was. I just call it the Loki bomb since they were both Lokis.
Oh, and it was sweet.
Oh.
So anyway, they stopped them. I guess not every timeline was.
They did get rid of a lot, just not all of them.
Because at the end, Sylvie goes back to her timeline where she was, and she was living on a branch. I think they mentioned that where she's not on the sacred timeline, she's just on a branch somewhere. And she goes back and she's there with her pickup truck and enjoying the night.
But she's holding he who remains, that little disc thing. I don't know what it does. I don't know if that's how she travels. But that was off his desk.
I thought she traveled. I thought she had she's got something because she wears it on her arm because she was punching at it when she was moving around in this.
Could be, but when she was sitting on that truck, you could see something kind of glowing in her hands, and it was that thing from season 1 that was sitting on Kang's. I'm going to say Kang because I get.
That's who he is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was sitting on Kang's desk, and she swiped it. I don't remember what it was, or if they even said anything about what it was, but evidently she thought it was important and swiped it. So
it was beautiful.
It was a good episode.
Great episode. So, did we miss anything? What do we think about next week? What are we looking at next week?
Well, like I said, I think that's when we're going to see, because there's only 6 episodes, right? Correct. Yes. So next week will be the 3rd episode. They got to bring Kang in, or the Victor Timely variant. So I think that's where we're going to see him introduced. I forgot to look to see if there's any previews.
I haven't looked. are they? Do you think at some point we're going to deal with the? Because at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, they had that scene with all of Kang's variants. Are we going to deal with any of those variants in this show? Do you think, other
Uh,
than Victor Timely, which we know he's going to be there?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think they would bring them all in, but we might see different ones here and there. Not all of them. Just like
There's.
maybe
I'm gonna make a guess and say there's probably literally millions of them. I would not expect to see all of them either, but
we might see like the three that were at the post credit scene. We might see one of those.
I'm anxious to see. Just because Kang is supposed to have been such a big thing in the last phase, and then again in this phase, and I mean, he's there, and you are aware of him, but honestly, to me, he just has not posed that much of a threat, and maybe that's because we really haven't had the big, in the first phase we had at the end of the first phase we had the first Avengers movie, and Loki came, and then you saw the end credit scene, and it was like, okay, Thanos is running everything, and he is a threat. He sent the army. He's got all this other stuff that he can do to him. And as you move through phase 2, they built more and more on this Thanos being a threat thing, and then of course all of phase 3 was dedicated to he's going to be the big bad, and we're about to fight him in the big team up movie. Well, with phase 4, there really wasn't a big team up movie to launch Kang. And right now, the only thing we've seen with Kang was obviously the first season of Loki and Quantum Mania, which he was defeated at the end of Quantum Mania. So I don't know. They're going about this very weird, and maybe it's one of those things where after everything's said and done, it's like, oh well, of course it makes perfect sense now. Now I get it, but.
Yeah, I don't know if because I don't know because I came into Marvel a little late when a lot of the shows were already out, or not shows,
The
movies
movies.
were already out. So to me, it didn't feel like the phases were, long because, for me, phase 1 and 2 were like that.
Yeah, you could watch that over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see any previews for. It's all New York Comic Con. It looks like. Jesus.
Yes, New York Comic Con is going on. Dave Gramillion, we need to get to New York Comic Con sometime. If you're watching.
No, that's not the right one. Yeah, I don't see anything. But it's only Monday, and it
I
comes
was going
out
to say the next show comes on in like 3 days, right? Thursday night.
Thursday night. So, but yeah, but it seems like these phases are moving a little more slowly, and COVID had a lot to do with that because they couldn't film, they couldn't do this, that. Shows got delayed, movies got delayed. So
I don't know. I look at it as I think it's because there was so much coming out with the last phase. You had WandaVision, you had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you had Hawkeye, you had Loki, you had all the shows basically. Then you had a line of movies to go on top of the show. So you had the new Thor movie, you had Shang-Chi, you had the Eternals. You had a Spider-Man movie in there somewhere. You had Doctor
Okay.
Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Um, so I mean, there was just a lot of content, and honestly, I'm kind of glad they slowed it down. Just because that gives us time to sit and digest and say, okay, here's what just happened. What do we see happening here, kind of thing. So
Well, and I think the problem is it's like, well, I mean, eventually it's going to lead to King Dynasty and whatever else the other one is.
Secret
And
War.
yeah, but it's like so far, I mean, I don't know what it was like when, the phase 1 and 2 were originally coming out. I don't know if everybody knew where these movies were leading up to, if it was leading up to Thanos or not. Because, like I said, I watched them all together all at once. And of course, I don't know anything about the Marvel comics, so I didn't know what was going on or where it was going. I didn't care
Oh,
because I was having fun getting into it. So, but yeah, it's like now it's like you're trying to find the connections between all the shows and the movies that have come out. And it just, some of it seems like it's just kind of all over the place. I mean, some of these shows are leading up to, like Hawkeye, and I don't even know if they're still coming out with Echo or not, or Ironheart, but
I think they canceled Ironheart. I think they shelved Echo. Echo may still be on the
they're
docket
supposed
though.
to drop all of them in November, all the episodes of Echo,
Are
but
they?
I don't know. They were going to drop all of them. They weren't even going to do a weekly, and I don't know. I was like, that doesn't sound good. But I don't know if that's still happening or not, but I mean, a lot of these shows are leading, the TV shows at least, with
Oh,
probably
it says the series premiere is in January of 2024
Echo.
for Echo. That's what IMDb says.
Interesting. But I think with the exception of Loki, from as far as I can tell, a lot of the other shows are leading up to Thunderbolts,
Hmm.
the Young Avengers. So, but like I said, I don't know the comics, so to me it seems kind of, even though I'm enjoying the shows and in some of the movies, not Eternals. Uh, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, it just seems like they're all over the place, and we haven't really heard anything about the Eternals since it's come out. Although somebody, I forget what I was watching, or maybe it was on Twitter, and they posted a picture. But when Loki and Mobius they came out that door in 77, the time portal, and they were walking down the alley or whatever, and there was a poster, and it was I can't remember his name because it's the Eternals, but it was the one guy that was
Oh yeah,
The Bollywood star.
yeah.
Yeah, but his poster was there, so but that's been about the only connection that I can remember.
Infinity Gauntlet Saga was completely different in the comics than how the movies. And now I will agree with you on that one, because after I'm like Debbie was, I started watching the Marvel movies when the first Iron Man hit the theaters. I was excited about that. I wanted to see where they were going with it. At the end of the movie, I had to pee so bad that when the credits started, I bolted to the bathroom, and then I find out later that there was an end credit scene, so I had to go back and see the movie again just to see what happened, see what I missed. I hated myself, but that was the thing, was that as far as my Marvel knowledge goes, it dealt strictly in this universe. It had nothing to do. Basically, I would go back to the comics if there was something that was like if there was an Easter egg somewhere within the movies. I know Morgan was Pepper Potts and Tony's kid in the comic books, and of course their daughter is named Morgana, I think, in the movies. But he says it, and it's a female version of Morgan, basically. So it was like, okay, well that's cool. Little things like that. That I mean, they're not really necessary for the furtherment of the story, but they're cool little Easter eggs saying, okay, this is how it happened in the comics, and we're not really going to go with it that way. But when the Infinity Gauntlet was over, I read it. I had to read it, and I was like, holy smokes, it's completely different, because Adam Warlock played a huge, huge role in the Infinity Gauntlet comic series, and he wasn't even introduced until Phase 5. I mean, I guess technically Guardians 2, because they had the post-credits scene where she says, "Oh, I'll call him Adam," and so okay, yeah, fine, but he was very involved with the whole Infinity thing. Plus, Thanos' reasons within the Infinity Gauntlet, with the movie was to kill half of everything living and plenty of resources for everyone, and everyone's happy. And with the other one, it was I'm in love with Lady Death, and I want her to notice me, so I'm going to kill everybody, kind of thing. So you haven't seen it yet? What?
Dana.
You're so
Dana.
Yeah.
Dr. Dana.
Dr.
Come
Dana.
on.
You haven't seen what? The season 2, episode 2, or you haven't seen the Infinity
Saga?
the
At
Infinity
all?
Saga.
Any of it?
So anyway, yeah, I mean, and there are differences, but I think that's one of the things that I like about these movies is that it's taking place in a different universe. So because it's taking place in a different universe, they can tell the story that they want to tell. That's one of the, I think Feige came out, it was what episode, or we're in universe 616, I think.
Yes.
Something like that. And the comic books all take place in a different universe, different timeline, the whole bit. And that's great. That's awesome. And she only has eyes for Deadpool.
Well, can't blame her. Really.
You haven't seen Loki. What is wrong?
Well, then what are you on here for, Dana?
Dr. Dana Martin, by the way, is the host of the System Men. They will be on tomorrow night talking about Revan. I believe you and I both will be back there, right?
Fingers I don't know. Are we? I didn't know if he had other people coming on or what. Revan Part 2.
Revan Part 2. Talking about
we did
Revan.
Part 1 last week. So if you're a Revan fan, well, we appreciate that, Dana. But yeah, Revan Part 1 was last week, so go back and watch that.
Oh, there we are.
Tomorrow night.
So
because tomorrow night we're doing Part 2 of Revan.
So
last week was very fun and good. So,
but anyway, back to my rant. Yes, that's one of the reasons that I like the movies, because you can, like I said, you can tell the story, and it gets me to say, okay, now I want to go back to the comics and see how things were different. And I mean, even in some aspects, I can go back to some of the older cartoon shows. I know Spider-Man had there was a, was it Spider-Man or was it the Avengers? Might have been the Avengers, actually, that had a whole Secret Invasion series within the cartoon show. The same thing with the older Spider-Man, the 1990s Spider-Man. They had a bunch of stuff that led up to the Secret Wars. So it's nice to sit and say, okay, now I can go back and visit the comic books after I've seen what I've seen in the media, and say, and enjoy the story that much more.
So, in your opinion, which was better, the Infinity Comics or the Infinity Saga MCU?
Yes.
They're both good.
And we're both good. Yeah.
Okay.
You just it's
It's just done differently.
it's done differently. I mean, it's you I don't want to say it's the exact same story because it's not the exact same story. It's just it's a different take on the story. And that's fine. I like I said, you're in a different universe. I have no problem with it. The movies were amazing, but the comics were really good too. So, in fact, Luke owns the comics, and he got his signed by one of the artists that did the Infinity Saga. We met him at a Comic-Con a few years back, so
Oh, nice.
he was quite excited. So, anyway, all right. Have we got everything? We covered everything.
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Cool. Shameless plugs. What do we got?
Set the menu tomorrow
Set the
night.
menu tomorrow night.
Wednesday, I believe we have Through the Eyes of the Child. I think that comes out on Wednesdays. And then Thursday, it's us again with Cantina Happy Hour Star Wars. Episode 2 of season 2, Mandalorian.
The Passenger, I believe, is the
So
title.
that's Sunday.
Huh?
Is War of the Stars on Wednesday then, Shield?
Yeah, maybe.
One of those two is on Wednesday, and then the other one is on Sunday. And then Thursday, it's us. And then Friday, we have Hobby Hut. Saturday is Geek Gauntlet. And then we have a new Captain's Logs and Lightsabers.
Ooh.
And then
that just dropped yesterday or today, right?
I've seen it drop, but I haven't had a chance to.
They're doing one of the captains from
Cisco.
Thank you.
Deep Space Nine.
They're talking about Deep Space Nine. Those guys talk about Trek and
Star Wars.
So
yeah, it's the day that ends in Y. Thank you, Grimlock.
Lego build, yes. So starting December 1st, we are going to have a daily Lego build. I haven't got it yet, but I'm going to get the Lego Star Wars Advent calendar. And so starting from December 1st to December 24th, I'll be on daily doing the build from the Advent calendar, which will be cool. And that being said, you need to go to YouTube and look up Geek News Now Official and hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to set up alerts so that you know when we do go live for things like that. And your phone will go off and go, bing, hey, Geek News Now is on. And you'll be like, sweet. But that's me. Plus, we've got all these great shows. I mean, we got Cantina, we got Sith, we got Geek Gauntlet. Geek Gauntlet talks about everything. A lot of anime stuff on that one, if you're into the anime. I'm going to do another live Lego build soon, I hope. I don't know when. I need to set that up. And I'm busy. I've got Fan Fest this coming weekend, so we'll be out there. I'll be out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you are in the Dallas, Texas area and you come out to Fan Fest, come and find me, say hi. I'll be glad to call your friends and say, hey, I don't know, whatever.
We also have had 3 or 4 new articles come out from geeknewsnow.net. Dana.
A lot of Halloween stuff coming out right now. So I know
Dana did one on Kylo Ren.
Johnny Lynch did one on scary nostalgic toys.
Oh, I didn't see that one drop.
Johnny Lynch was also at the Bangor, Maine Comic-Con, just not too, I think this past weekend. So watch for something from that too.
And then we had a video game review on Midnight Suns.
Ben Solo and
Uh,
Patricide.
I haven't had a chance to read it, but I was just going by the picture I seen. But I will read it because I love your articles, Dina.
Yes. So go to if you want to see all the cool articles that we have, go to geeknewsnow.net. That's the website. You can find us on all of the socials. Twitter, Twitch, what's that other one that not Twitch?
Twitch.
Uh
TikTok.
no, the other one. Threads. That's the one I'm thinking of. Instagram. The one that I know nothing about. Instagram. It's not Twitter anymore either. It's X. X.
Whatever. Everybody still calls it Twitter. Yeah, I said TikTok.
We got it. TikTok. But of course.
Friday we usually have Friday Night Frights.
Oh, yes, for this month. Yes. Threads is a happy Twitter. Okay.
I haven't been on it, so I don't.
We are old. We are set in our ways.
I think my kids were in college before I ever got on Facebook. And my daughter made me do that, and Twitter. I think that was the same time I got on Twitter too, was when she went into college.
Yes, Friday Night Frights is on TikTok. I know he's been doing a lot of stuff with some Stephen King stuff.
It.
Yes.
The book It.
Creepy. So, anyway, like I said, go check out all the socials. We're there. Just don't look up GNN. Look up Geek News Now. GNN will actually take you to some kind of
news
organ, some kind of real, like, well, I don't want to call it.
It's a foreign
news organization. Yes, not an American-based news organization. So look for Geek News Now. It's Geek News Now official on YouTube. But anyway, that's going to do it for us tonight. Y'all all have a great week. We will see you next week right here when we will be talking Loki Season 2, Episode 3. We'll see you guys all next week.